What's up, ladies and gents? I'm your boy Antican, and thank you for passing by the channel. I hope you guys are having a beautiful day. When I was making this video about escalation and talking about the things that are wrong with it, someone in my comment section asked me a legitimate question because I know that it's some people who either are new or returning players are struggling with. Is how to maintain DPS and survivability, right? Because if you're a higher tier or your expertise high or you already capped out in expertise, chances are you're doing a lot of damage and you're able to compensate more armor because you're already expertise. But for the new players and returning players, I got a great build for you guys. So this person decided to share his thoughts in the comment section, and this is what he wrote. He says, "Damn, I really suck. I can't solo over tier 3. I do use my DPS builds when I solo though, and I keep cutting the armor down." And that's usually the struggle for most people because let's be honest, you either could do a lot of DPS or you can get more armor to survive, but you'll sacrifice DPS. But what if I told you that you don't have to sacrifice so much DPS to be able to survive? Now, I got two builds here that I'm about to show you. One that I feel like I always use more often than the other, but the other one is a solo build where you can, dish out a lot of damage and still have more armor on you. So, without further ado, ladies and gents, let's get to this build. So for my first build that I wanted to show with both DPS and survivability when in regards to armor, sometimes you gotta nick and pick in what exactly you want to use, but you need to also realize that because of that, you'll be losing something else. But with the Heartbreaker build and the way I have it set up, with the modifiers and everything, you could accomplish both, do a lot of damage, and at the same time survive by getting more armor, right? So as you're looking at here, now this is specifically for escalation. And the reason why I'm using the pestilence is for that reason. And a lot of people might say, but it just sucks that it doesn't have many rounds. Well, with this one piece of Royal Works, you get 32% magazine size, right? And with the modifiers, you can add on to that magazine size by being able to cut both skill damage and armor, right? So if you're looking at here, the exotic that I'm using is the Messenger backpack, the Ninja by Messenger, because with it, you could add on another bonus to whatever brand set you're using. And it's important and key that you mix and match using the Messenger because in high-end content, you want to maximize whatever you're trying to accomplish, right? Whether you're trying to do more DPS, whether you're trying to, have more armor, whether you're trying to shoot more accurate by having weapon handling. You want to get those bonuses to go towards that to get more damage, right? So I'm doing 3 pieces of Heartbreakers, and I'm using the chest piece because the chest piece gives you the stacks that go from 50 to 100. So you'll be stacking over 100% and you get 1.1% weapon damage, right? But now you're getting to 100% weapon damage with this. And with the backpack, you get the 4 pieces all together, which activates Heartstopper with headshots applied pulse for 5 seconds, weapon hits on pulse enemies adds a stack of 1% bonus armor and 1.1% weapon damage. So now that you're doing 100% or stacking 100 times to get 100% damage and 100% armor, you can see why this is a good solo build for escalation and for any type of end game activity, right? And I'm using the One Piece uh, Royal Works, and because of the Ninja Backpack, you're getting two bonuses from this: 5% weapon handling and 32% magazine size. And I'm using the contractor gloves, and also is giving it two bonuses because of the Ninja Backpack. And I'm getting LMG damage and 15% weapon handling. And that's key because the Heartbreaker gear set also gives you weapon handling. So you're doing backup request 35%. You're doing 35% weapon handling. Plus the magazine size is important here, ladies and gents, because you're getting 162 mags per round on the pestilence, which is key because that's the pestilence suffers from having a higher magazine size like the other LMGs out there, right? Like the blue screen that gets 200 rounds and the high end ones that get up to 300 rounds, right? So it's important to, you know, scale your magazine size higher to do more damage. And my second weapon of choice, I'm using the Lexington with Killer. Now, I know a lot of people use it with the Technician, but the reason why I'm using it with the Gunner is because of the Gunner's perks that include fire rate, armor on kill, and, you know, reload speed. All those things that you kind of truly need for high DPS, the Gunner supplies. So because I'm not using the Technician with the pulse pointer, I supplemented with the scanner pulse, where it accomplishes the same thing, really, because as long as you're getting headshots, when you're landing headshots, enemies pulse anyways, but activating the pulse with the Gunner can do the same thing. And with the perks that the Gunner already gets with directional transmitter, you get the 15% radius and the 15% effect duration. So you're doing the most maximized effects with the pulse in a larger radius. Now, the other way that I'm actually doing it for solos, because the first build I was showing you is specifically for escalation. Now, the other way that I will show you is switching out the pestilence with maybe an AR. In my case, I'm using the Eagle Bearer. You can go with a Lexington. You can go with the Bighorn. A lot of people been using that because of the headshot damage. And really any weapon, St. Elmo's, anything that you think can dish out a lot of damage and is accurate enough to land headshots, go for it. And the second weapon that I'm using here is the name GR9 Dare with perfect flatline that gives you 20% more damage to pulse enemies. So you could see already right off the bat how these two versions, one with the pestilence for escalation and the other one for high-end content, like if you want to do retaliation and all that. And again with the pulse. Yeah, guys, these two different ways can maximize damage and armor all in the same time. Now, finally, the build that I've been using really almost for every escalation run, I'm talking tier 5, tier 6, but I've been using this specific True Patriot build. Now, I know that some of you stopped using this build because of other gear sets and other brand sets that kind of like, you know, dish out a lot of damage, but you need somebody on your team who can spread affliction. Now, affliction is like when you're passing it down to the next enemy, kind of like what the Vile Mask does with Eclipse Protocol. But those items in that gear set lack of damage sometimes, right? but this is the best way to be able to survive and still dish out damage while your teammates are cleaning up using striker builds, right? So the true Patriot, if for the new players, not the old players or returning players, they know about this, right? So the true Patriot, what it does is that with 4 pieces, well, 2 pieces you get ammo capacity, and 3 pieces you get magazine size, 30% of it, which is key if you're using the pestilence. In 4 pieces where it says red, white, and blue, every 2 seconds, enemies you shoot receive a stacking debuff of red, white, and blue. Red amplifies the enemy's damage taken by 8%. White shooting the enemy repairs attacking agent's armor by 2% once every second. Blue decreases the enemy's damage dealt by 8%. Full flag, enemies that die while under the effect of all 3 debuffs, 5 meters creates a 5-meter explosion dealing damage equal to their total health and armor. Explosions damage reduced with named enemies, right? But the point is, with this debuffs, you get a good amount. You get this is just shooting the enemy to mark them, by the way. You get a debuff, you get an amplified damage, and they take a debuff. So they do 8% less damage to you. And that's very important because not only are you spreading the pestilence damage, you're moving it also while debuffing enemies, and that is super key. The way I have it set up here is, again, with the messenger backpack that completes the 4-piece for me to be able to accomplish the full gear set. And I'm using 1 piece of Bellstone, and with the ninja, it gives me 2 bonuses. So I get armor on regen and armor on kill. I'm already getting 5% with the gunner, so you could see that. And a piece of Royal Works that gives me weapon handling and magazine size. And since True Patriot with 3 pieces already gives you 30%, you add another 32%, and that's 62%, and you're at almost 200 rounds with the pestilence, and that is huge in escalation. And that is huge for the pestilence itself, because now you're shooting more rounds and spreading it across while debuffing enemies with the true Patriot talent. That's it, ladies and gents. That's all you need to know. And for the person that wrote that comment down, use these builds. You'll have an easier time shredding enemies, having fun while trying to get prototype gear. Let me know down in the comment section what you think about this build. And if you like it, try it. Have fun with it. Enjoy farming tier 5 of escalation. Hey, and I'm your boy Antican. You guys know what to do. And as always, ladies and gents, thank you. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.
Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment. Because let's be honest, this mother is super desperate. And he has nobody. So please, at this mother.